All right, folks. Donnie has made it to Rock Hill.
We're back on the saga of the mobile home.
So we're trying to tell you, just so you know what's going on, we're trying to buy this mobile home, and we're trying to tell you the whole shenanigans of the whole thing, how it has unfolded so far and what's going on. So we have a mobile home that we're attempting to buy so that we can work on. Now we did a video where we showed you the inside of the place because we went inside. We had permission.
We had earnest money.
We had already put earnest money on it, but we didn't have to keep. Well,
anyway,
we got inside of the place and looked around a little bit. We didn't disturb anything, right? But there's this old beat up mobile home that we're attempting to buy, and the deed is all screwed up.
Yeah, the lawyer, when we left you, the lawyer was doing the background search.
Yes.
We probably shouldn't have had that background search.
So, you know how lawyers will find something, and then if there's a legal, like a good lawyer now, we got a good lawyer. Yeah. If there is one little thing out of line, he will act like it's the worst possible thing he's ever seen, and that you can't do this and blah, 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 right?
He found two things.
So he found two things. Now, the truth is, both of these things are kind of significant, but we're talking about a very low valued piece of property, and there probably nothing would have came of it, but the lawyer wanted to fix these problems. And so we allowed him to take care of this. So tell him what's going on, Donnie.
Well, I don't think he's going to take care of it, but this is what's happening. Look right here.
We've got it pulled up on Google Earth here. An older picture of it.
So this is there's two pieces of property here and there.
Yeah.
This piece of property over here is the one in question. That piece of property got a lifetime lease on it.
Yeah.
For, I think it was $1 a day, I believe is what the deal is.
They signed, they gave some woman.
Lifetime
2 women.
lease.
2 women. No, 1 woman.
1 woman.
A lifetime lease on this piece of property for $1 a day, and drew it up as a contract, and then had a lawyer
put it into effect.
File it with the damn courthouse. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I'm going to read it to you so you can just see the crap you run into whenever you do title searches sometimes. Now, why do you do title searches? It's because you want to be sure that something won't pop up later that can bite you in the bottom. So this is like one of the craziest ones I've ever seen. And I think, didn't the lawyer say it's one of the craziest ones he's ever seen?
Yeah.
He basically could not believe that a lawyer actually did this, you know. And a lawyer had to write it up. It's in legalese, you know, and then filed it. And then it doesn't have a termination. That's the problem. There's no way to get out of it, right? So let me read it to you. If you're interested in any kind of legal stuff, just pay attention to this. Okay, so here is the actual paperwork. I have marked out their names. Okay, State of South Carolina, County of Chesterfield. Should I read it in the voice? Know all men by these presents. Right, so I don't understand most of this. Know all men by these presents that this indenture is made and entered in this blah, 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 2009 by and between blah, 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 of this is the address of the mobile home. City of Mount Croghan, blah, 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 blah. Hereinafter referred to as the lesser, right? And blah, 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 blah. This was their address, Mount Croghan. Hereinafter referred to as lessee. So the lesser is the one offering the deal. The lessee is the one that's getting it. Okay, so the lawyer had big problems with this. He did not like the way any of this was written. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, lessor, for and in consideration of the covenants, promises, agreements, and limitations and restrictions contained herein, to be performed by the lessee, does hereby lease and let into the said lessee the below property to wit. Now you could figure it all out if you look through all of this, right? So it's a 0.89 acre lot. Okay. For the term of the life of the lessee. So he really didn't like that. So this agreement lasts forever, basically, right? Until the person who has this document that is leasing it, until they die. For the term of the life of the lessee, beginning on the first day of blah, 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 the lessee promising to pay, therefore, the rental of $200 per month. Now, we said $1 a month. It's not quite that cheap, but provided, however, the lessee may, at her sole option, terminate the lease at any time by giving 1 year's written notice of her intent to terminate. In such case, this agreement shall terminate 1 year from the date of the giving of such notice. So it says that the only way to get rid of this is to tell the lessor that you're going to terminate it. The lawyer was saying that's all backwards. So basically all of the power is with the person that's renting it. All right. In addition to the rental payments here and above mentioned, lessee shall pay to lessor the sum of $5 per day for each day that any monthly rental payment or any part thereof shall be late in payment. Okay. It is lessee's sole responsibility to ensure that all rental payments, as well as any accrued late charges, are paid to and received by lessor when due. All rent money shall be paid to and received by lessor in advance on or before the due dates called for hereinafter at lessor's address, which is the address that we're talking about, the building. Okay? So we'll come back to this. Default. It is further agreed by and between the lessor and the lessee that if any rent shall be due and unpaid as aforesaid, or if default shall be made in any of the agreements or covenants herein contained on the part of the lessee to be kept, performed and observed then, and in any such event, it shall be lawful for the lessor. So this is what they say that the lessor can do. The lessor to re-enter the said premises and to remove all persons therefrom by summary proceedings or otherwise, and the lessee waives the service of any notion in writing of intention to re-enter. It is further understood and agreed that the lessee will be responsible for any and all costs incurred by the lessor, including reasonable attorney fees, in the exercise of lessor's rights under this lease. Okay, so that's the gist of it. So basically what's going on is they're paying $200 a month. Okay? But there's a provision saying that the only way to cancel it is for the lessee to cancel it. So it never says that the leaser, the lessor, whatever, the person that owns the property can cancel it. It also never says anything about it's a contract between two people, and the one woman doesn't own the property anymore. We own the property, right? So the rent is to be paid from this woman to this woman. We're not in here anywhere. So I mean, if you took it to court, I'm sure a lawyer could get it all straightened out. But basically, this woman could pop up and say, "Okay, I owe $5 a day. Boy, I've been late for 14 years. So that's $1,500 a month, a year, $1,500 a year, basically. Is my math right there? No, yeah, I'm right. It's about $1,500. So it would be about 17 grand plus the $200 a month, which would be 24. So it'd be 24 grand, something like that. So it's a long shot. But basically, the person could pop up, pay $40K, and then have permanent rent on the property for $200 that she's paying to this woman, not me. Or she could just say that she paid the woman the $40,000 in arrears that she has. And the woman says, yep, she sure did. Boy, she's caught up now. You know what I mean? It's a real sloppy contract. Would it hold up in court? Probably not, but you'd have to take it to court, right? And all it would take is for these two women to start talking and decide to do this. Right? So it's just, now these two women that we're talking about, we got in contact with this lady and we got in contact with this lady. They're both nice people. They're not going to do this, right? But let's say it's an adversarial situation. Let's say that they're family or something, and this just happens to be on the books at some property that you're buying, and they're still mad that Uncle Bob screwed them out of the property 30 years ago or some crap. You know, you don't know what the deal is. This is just a sloppily written lease agreement that could bite you in the butt. Now, we're just dealing with a little lot. The whole lot's not worth $40,000, right? We're just dealing with a little lot out in the middle of the country. It's no big deal. But what if this was in Manhattan or something? You know, it's a big deal, or that's an extreme situation, but I'm in Charlotte. If this was in Charlotte, there's people that would do that. I mean, they would absolutely take this to a lawyer, figure out a way that they could try to wrestle back control of the property. So anyway, the whole point is, if you're going to buy property, you've got to have a title search done. You've got to have a lawyer go back through it and just research all this stuff and find all of this stuff. I didn't find this. I was pulling up like the previous deeds, just doing my own research, but I don't really know what I'm doing, right? But they went down to the courthouse and found this document that we didn't even know existed. And technically, the woman could still lease the property for $200 a month in perpetuity and not even paying me, paying somebody else. It doesn't say anything about who owns the property or anything. So that would be a whole ton of legal expense. You could probably get it straightened up because, you know, the judge isn't going to let somebody get away with this if they don't even own the property. But it's just it's a really messy loose end that has to be tied up. So we got to figure out how to take care of this. So unbelievable.
Okay,
can you believe it, Donnie?
No, I cannot believe it.
So I talked about it enough. Okay, so that's our problem that we're running into.
So
that we ran into.
Come to find out what's going on here. The lawyer has told us, stop, back up, don't do anything, don't buy the piece of property. So mine and Ronnie's thinking is, this piece over here that we're talking about now, you got to remember, it's this side.
There are two lots.
Yeah, there's two lots.
Let me show them on GIS just so they'll know what we're talking about. All right, so this is the online GIS. The trailer is completely on this lot. This lot has nothing on it.
So that lot, basically the worst case scenario, this lady can come back and make us rent it to her for $365 a year.
But she would have to, well, I don't remember if that's what it was, something like that.
But
she has to pay all of the back rent.
She has to pay all the back
rent. And she can't pay it to us. She's got to pay it to that other woman.
Yeah, she's got to pay it to somebody
who
else,
might get in cahoots with her and just say, "Oh yeah, she paid me." So it's pretty crappy.
But when I'm purchasing this property, that was a freebie.
Yeah, there's nothing on that lot.
I didn't pay anything for that lot in what I decided I was going to give for this place. Mm-hmm. So me and Ronnie decided to go for it anyway. Mm-hmm. Do it with the bad deed on that piece of the property.
And we made sure, we double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked. It's a lot that doesn't have anything on it. It's basically somebody's yard.
So we closed on it. Okay. So
the mysterious gentleman showed up and signed the documents. Now, we didn't see him.
We did not see him. He did not show up for the closing.
Didn't you see him?
No, I did not. Yes, I did see him.
You did see him,
after the fact.
After the fact.
So,
we'll get into that later. He does exist.
I get a hold of this lady that supposedly got the lease and tell her I want to buy the lease.
Yeah, so the woman has a lease on the property from 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, 10 years ago, and hasn't been paying it, hasn't been exercising it.
So
Donnie actually finds her.
I find her and tell her that I'd like to buy her lease, or she's going to have to pay me for the lease. So she decides that she's going to sign over the lease to me.
Yeah.
So we go back to the lawyer, and I have the paperwork fixed where she no longer has a lease on that piece of property. So that's another reason why this piece of property is a lot less money than anything else. A bank will not loan you any money on this kind of property.
Yeah, they're not going to loan you money on land that it has a screwed up deed. And...
Yeah. So we bought this place way undervalued because the paperwork is just destroyed.
So the first thing we fixed, it was in some guy's name that apparently did not own it. Now, legally he owned it, but apparently
he didn't.
Another guy owned it, right?
Yes.
We got that all straightened up. It's now in our name. Both pieces of land. Okay, so that has been repaired. But then there's a lease on the right side of the property. Tell them how you accomplished that.
I had to get in the truck and drive 150 miles towards Myrtle Beach. Take a piece of paper up to this lady and say, we got to go to the bank and you got to sign this and we got to get it notarized in front of this bank lady. And then I had to carry it back to the lawyer. But there was another mistake in the whole process. She done got married. She married this person and had a last name of Zywich, okay? Galakowicz. What was
Galakowicz.
Galakowicz. It was Galakowicz, right? So then she went and married Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then she went and married Coors.
Yeah.
Well,
and it was bad all around.
She didn't have Galakowicz anything anymore.
Yeah, she was no longer a Galakowicz.
So she didn't have Budweiser. Now she's Coors. So she's signing Coors to Galakowicz, and it's all screwed up there. So we had to go back and prove that she is Galakowicz and not Coors.
And she doesn't like Galakowicz anymore.
She don't like Galakowicz.
And she don't like Budweiser anymore.
Nope.
She's happy, though, with Coors, so we're happy for her.
So it was like, oh, my God. So I'm at the beach trying to get all this paperwork figured out, and I got the lawyer on the phone going, she's not Galakowicz. And he's going, she's got to be. I'm saying, she was.
Remember what she said, though, about wanting to sign it?
I'll gladly sign it. I don't want nothing to do with it.
She was upset that there was a legal document that still had that name on it, and she couldn't wait to sign and get rid of it.
Yeah. So I drove down there, got it all signed, got all the paperwork, come back, gave it to the lawyer. The lawyer looked over everything, and we finally got it cleaned up.
So now there's no
nothing. It's a good, clean title now. It's solid as a rock. So
there's still a big problem.
There's still one.
There's going to be a part 3 to this. This is part 2 you're watching.
Part 3 is the trailer.
The trailer is not in anybody's name that we have ever even heard of.
Yeah.
So there's a big turd of a trailer sitting on our property that we purchased, but it's not in anybody's name that we've ever heard of.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good one. You need to stay tuned. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. We had to go to the magistrate.
Oh, no. Did you marry her?
So y'all stay tuned. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss out on the magistrate. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next one.